The following is presented by the Cheeky Bastards.
Come to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs.
Yippee Ki-Yay, motherfuckers, and welcome to the 60th edition of Dropping a Bruce, the monthly podcast where we watch every single one of Bruce Willis's 40 direct-to-video releases from his acting career to see if he took the role for a paycheck and dropped a deuce, or if in fact he took the role and gave it his all and dropped a Bruce. I'm the notorious Scott K.
And my name is Mr. Smith.
And together we will be your hapless stewards on this 40-month journey through the lesser-known movies of Mr. Bruce Willis's filmography. This month's stop finds us in total fucking freefall as we review 2019's action crime thriller Trauma Center. And Mr. Smith, you don't know this, but we've also started, unbeknownst to even ourselves, the Summer of Escondry. That's correct, folks. Matt Escondry will be responsible for all three films that we review in June. I'm sorry, it's June for you. Like, it's not June. The month, not the movie. In June, July, and August, the summer months will be strapped with Trauma Center, Survive the Night, and Hard Kill. I'm only hoping that a hard kill is just a man with a raging erection who has to kill people because it won't subside. But we can't get that lucky. We cannot get
we
that
can only hope.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, the wheels have come off, ladies and gentlemen. The wheels have officially come off. As Steve and I record this, we did a double feature. We did the first two films in this triple series from the summer. I did them back to back. I'm assuming you did the same.
Mm-hmm. I watched Trauma Center last night, and I watched Survive the Night this morning.
Which, when we get to that movie, is kind of apropos. You'll have to check out next month's episode to understand that inside joke.
I'm still shaking.
Well, I did these yesterday afternoon back to back.
Ooh, you're a braver man than I.
Yep, almost fell asleep 6 times between the two films. I just slapped myself and stopped from nodding off. So that's a good start to get into this. So
yeah, that should give you some idea of where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no other way to do this, but just continue free falling down this rabbit hole of treachery. You know, we brought this on ourselves. We did. We brought this on ourselves. We decided.
Well, this was your idea. Just a reminder. Is true. Yeah. So I hold you personally responsible for my mental state.
And I told you before we recorded, your parents should have taught you the lesson of not succumbing to peer pressure, make your own decisions. So that's what you get. That's what you get.
They failed me in many ways.
Now, before we play hide and seek in a hospital with 2 inept asshats while we wait for Puerto Rican surgeons to remove a bullet in our leg, it's time for our...
What you talking about, Willis?
Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
This film was released in 2019, written by Paul De Silva and directed by Matt Escondry, starring Nikki Whelan, Bruce Willis, Tito Ortiz, Texas Battle, Steve Guttenberg, and Tyler John Olsen, with a running time of 87 minutes. It was made on a budget of $10 million and grossed $92,000 at the box office. It holds a 4 rating on IMDb, with a 20 critics and 55 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Alone and trapped in a lockdown hospital, an injured young woman must escape a pair of vicious killers who are after the only piece of evidence that can implicate them in a grisly murder, the bullet in her leg. Lionsgate Film and Grindstone Entertainment Group presents Trauma Center.
I'm Lieutenant Wiggs. Just a few questions about what you saw. Did you see the shooter?
There were 2 of them. Who is that guy? What is this about?
He was my partner. These guys killed a cop. You're a witness.
Are they gonna come after me?
This is the isolation ward.
Am I the only one on this floor?
Yes, this is the safest place for you. Even if the killer could find you, there's an armed cop right outside your door. If you have any problems, just call me directly.
Got something. Another shell. Ejector mark says maybe Glock.
There was a protection racket going around.
You're saying cop did this?
Cops. More than one.
Somebody help me.
No one's gonna help you, princess.
Damn it.
Lieutenant, the guys that are chasing me, they're the shooters.
Don't make this harder than it already is.
Mr. Willis plays Lieutenant Steve Wakes, a detective in the Major Crimes Unit of the San Juan, Puerto Rico Police Department. Stay with us. Hold on. We're almost there. He's just finished pulling a double shift and doesn't have fucking time for his partner's request to check into an issue with his CI, which stands for Criminal Informant for those of you who may not be in the know. This is our second of his 26 straight-to-video releases that he will do over the next 5 years of his career. This is his second straight-to-video release of 2019. He only did 2 of them. And his first of 4 films. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 directed by Mr. Scandri, to include the 3 in the row I was telling you about. So lucky fucking us. We are on the Scandri Express, baby. We are going to ride this train into hell.
Got a one-way ticket.
Now, I will try to divulge what we think this plot is about before we jump into some fun interactions about behind-the-scenes stuff.
I'm going to need you to do that because...
Okay. Now, for reasons unknown to us and the writers, a police officer is shot and killed by 2 half-wit cops in front of a sexy waitress in apparently the whitest town in Puerto Rico. We then spend the rest of this film watching them play hide and seek in a hospital with her. Oh, and did I mention she's been shot in the fucking leg? Oh, wait, one more thing. The Goot shows up out of the blue. We get Steve Guttenberg in here. We'll talk about that in a second. But yay. Hey, he's here. He's there. He's everywhere. It's the fucking Goot.
Good to see him. Good to see him, though, yeah?
I have a feeling he was just on vacation. They ran into us. It was like a roll.
I think, yeah, someone bumped into him. And someone bumped into him in a bar or something and said, could you do us a favor?
Steve Guttenberg?
Mahoney over here.
Oh, my God. So if you've seen this movie, you're not going to be surprised by the first thing I tell you. Bruce Willis shot all his scenes in a total of 2 days, and it shows. 2 days. This was shot, however, in 12 days in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, there's not a whole lot on this, which is surprising. Like, we've had a couple of our last few films.
I did my best.
With the Emmett Furla Oasis fuckers. You know, we've had a couple of behind the scenes, them basically being the scumbags they are. So I can only imagine they were off in the brothels of San Juan, paying zero attention to what was going on and interfering, which I don't know if it helped or didn't help. So I decided to scrounge up some reviews on this to give us a little bit of a good jolt, a little kickoff to our discussion. Our first from Letterboxd, extra marks for just how much Bruce Willis isn't giving a fuck. It was really funny at times. 2 stars. I want you to call me Steve. 1 star because Bruce Willis kind of tried in this one. Next review, no, half star. Next review, Bruce, who hurt you? Half star. Next review, this movie is what experiencing brain rot feels like. 1 star. And now the greatest review comes from IMDb user Kevbree, and it's titled, Where Are All the Puerto Ricans? For being set in Puerto Rico, they have an astonishing lack of Puerto Ricans. In fact, I counted 0 Puerto Ricans. Bruce Willis is terrible. Steve Guttenberg is creepy as a doctor, and I'm pretty sure he forgot he was filming a movie and started to hit on the lead actress. For having a detective shot in cold blood, they apparently didn't have much respect for him in the force because only Bruce Willis showed up to check on the officer, and I guess that's because it was his partner. For the only witness to a murder of a cop, they put one nerdy, fresh out of the academy cop to guard her. Apparently, no one gets sick in Puerto Rico either because the hospital is empty, sans for one case of an asthma attack that requires a 3-night stay in the hospital. Where are all the nurses that wake people up every 15 minutes like in real hospitals? Oh, and for the actress, who was the witness and was shot as well, they told her they couldn't take the bullet out of her leg that's an inch below the skin for several days because the surgeons were off duty. I kid you not. Good thing she wasn't shot in the head. Maybe that's why the detective didn't make it. I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis filmed in between happy hours. And that was one of the best reviews.
Well, they've made it sound a lot more fun than it is.
Yeah, that was actually probably the better. That should have been the plot. I should have used that as the plot introduction.
They should have used it as the plot. Where do you want to start?
Well,
Scott?
how about this? It starts off a little auspicious, right? We do a little bit of the old, hey, give you a little piece of what's going to happen, and then bring it back. Like, we're dragging our lead actress down the hallway. We eventually find out it's Tito Ortiz, and he hits her, which is really actually
UFC
Tito.
Guy, right? Or
he's a UFC guy who has been arrested for domestic violence, hitting women anyway. So I don't think he was actually acting in this film.
So he went full method then.
Full meta, yeah. Like, Tito, you're playing you as a cop. He goes, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'm picking up what you're laying down. You want me to rough up the ladies? No problem. I was going to do that anyways while I was here in Puerto Rico, but now you're going to pay me to do it? Oh, okay. So, yeah, we get that little thing. So we go, okay, what's going to happen?
We call that in the UK, we call that a busman's holiday, which is,
I think wasn't this what this film was called over there? It wasn't called Trauma Set. I think it was called Busman's Holiday.
Yeah. So the lead actress is hot.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was hoping we were going to get some nudity. I really was. I was like, you know what? It's going to turn into that. We're going to get a little gown slippage. Something's going to happen.
No.
Just as the person said, no, half star.
That's my review. Yeah, I like that review. No, just no. Lead actress is Nikki Whelan. She's Australian, right?
Yes, and she's really good in this film. She's really fine. It helped get through the 90 minutes or 87 minutes, whatever this was. Besides being attractive and catching to the eye, pleasing to the eye, she was really good. Considering what the hell we're watching, but
Well, I think of all the I quote actors in the movie, she's definitely the best.
She's going up against Tito Ortiz, so we're not exactly.
Well, she's decent. Tito Ortiz is not.
Don't forget Texas Battle was back. He's
pretty
10 Minutes Gone.
He's limited as an actor, but
a lot about this film is limited.
True, but I think he delivers in his own way. Mm-hmm. Again, these guys have got nothing to work with, really, so they do what they can. But
the script is piss poor. It's piss poor. There is no rhyme or reason for any of the things that happen. I think it's funny, the guy in the reviewer talked about the girl who got a 3-night stay for an asthma attack. One of my first notes is, fuck me, another movie with some bullshit kids disease. B movies clearly don't know how diseases work. She had out of the blue, she's sitting. Most asthma attacks happen from either some kind of stressful situation or the
physical exhaustion.
Yes, not from sitting. In the whitest restaurant if they don't put the name San Juan, Puerto Rico in the beginning of the movie, this is just another white town in the South somewhere.
Right, which it probably is.
No one's speaking. Actually, no, they said they filmed it in Puerto Rico.
Really?
So they didn't hire any of the locals because clearly no one on set knew how to speak Spanish. There's literally no Spanish spoken. There are no Spanish anybody. No one's interacting with anybody who's Spanish. There's one or two guys who seem to show up. I guess Tito Ortiz is the most Hispanic guy we got because his last name's Ortiz. I guess, but he's not. Funny thing is, he's not there because he's Spanish, because he doesn't have an accent, doesn't speak Spanish. He just happens to be named Tito Ortiz. That just seems to be happenstance that they've got him in the film. So,
right, yeah.
This movie starts off with apparently our lead actress, they decided to move to San Juan, Puerto Rico because their mother was in an accident in America.
That's textbook. That's what they do.
I guess. And because she couldn't handle being at the accident, now she doesn't like hospital. Whatever. Sure. Go ahead. We'll go with God. We'll go with that one. Sure.
We've got no choice.
And out of the blue, she's working at this dive bar, which is nothing but Americans in it. Americans run it, Americans work in it, and Americans frequent it. So basically, she's in an American bar in Puerto Rico. And her sister's sitting there because apparently at 16, she's not old enough to stay home. Or maybe the sister's a coos. Maybe we don't know. Maybe she's just giving it up to the local population, left, right, and center. And the sister's got to keep an eye on her.
That's why she had the asthma attack, is because she was worn out from giving it up.
Yes, it had to be. Because out of the blue, from sitting there, she suddenly has an asthma attack. And as all things happen in movies, she forgot her inhaler at home, as we do. And as we find out from the goot, this is the third time this month it's happened. So at some point, the sister's a fucking schmook, and we should have just shot her in the face because she's causing problems. But so she has to stay in the hospital for 3 days. And then the other sister won't hang out with her or sit with her scared sister because she's scared because she's like, in America, this is a little quick bump of the old asthma medicine, and we go home. We don't sit in a hospital for 3 days. And he's like, look, this is Puerto Rico. We do these things differently here. We take our time. You're going to sit here for 3 days for this asthma attack. So the sister's just going to fucking stay at home, the older one. She's like, I can't deal with it since mom died and whatever. But the funny thing about that is, it's supposed to be set up as if that's going to be something that we as the audience are going to have to, it's going to come back. When she finally goes to the hospital, she's not scared of it doesn't affect her in the slightest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not in the slightest.
I think, like, she's got to work. That's her first excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, she's got to pull a double.
I've got to pull a double shift at work. I can't be with you in the hospital while you're suffering this horrendous asthma attack.
Oh, yeah. An asthma attack of all asthma attacks. It's going to require 3 days in the hospital. You might die from this attack.
Although she's fine throughout the whole movie. She's not wired up to some fucking machine, is she? She just sat there reading a magazine.
In both the movies we watched, there are 2 girls in it that are just there just to be there. It's like, we need another person in the script. We needed to make more stakes. They have to be a child that we want the people to be worried about. I mean, even when she's eventually dragged into the plot, which is basically she's always been a plot point, there's no stakes in that either. There is literally no stakes in this film because the movie starts off with the 2 bumblefucks there. They're killing some guy. They stab him in the chest, and they don't take money, but they find a phone. Like, we find out he might be a rat. Like, none of this makes sense. None of it's pointless.
There was a lot of money as well,
and they left it. TJO got shot.
If I was a corrupt cop, I'd have took that money.
Exactly. I mean, you're in Puerto Rico. But, I mean, basically, Puerto Rico it's our island. If anyone doesn't know, it's an American island that doesn't allow to vote. It's not a state. We won't make it a state, but we do own it. And you do follow our rules and our laws, but you don't get to vote on them. So, hey, you learn from England.
Everything was better when we ruled.
So, Tyler J. Olsen, once again, our standard guy on the scene, he gets shot. He's killed. Bruce Willis tries to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, he gets shot pretty quick as well.
Bruce looks tired. Bruce is just agitated right out the gate. He just...
Well, I'll get to that later.
I can't say for sure he was reading lines, but when he yells at Tyler J. Olsen in the thing, he's just yelling. Like, he's like, Bruce, yell the line. He's just like, I don't have time for this shit. Why not, Bruce? I just pulled a double. I know this. If you work in Puerto Rico, you don't pull a regular shift. Everyone's pulling fucking doubles in Puerto Rico, all right?
Well,
everybody.
The hourly rate of pay is pretty low there, thanks to you fucks in the mainland.
Send us your fruits and your bananas. Now do a double, you cocksucker. However, in fairness, we're making our natural born American citizens work the doubles as well. Hey, you want to move down there? Huh? You think it's better? Doubles. Yeah. Doubles for everybody.
Move there, you fucking work for free.
You cocksucker, you working over there, you're double shifting it.
So yeah, as you've pointed out, I mean, the film's like an hour and 25 minutes long. At least an hour and 10 minutes of it is in the hospital.
Yes.
And
playing hide and seek.
Well,
it's the most elaborate game of hide and seek. And also, hey, we're going to also throw in a lot of things that we've seen in other Bruce Willis movies, like maybe Die Hard.
I will say in the defense of this piece of shit, I kind of like the reason the cops are after the girl is because they need the bullet from her leg. I thought that was...
I get what you're saying. But sorry. Holy fuck, this movie's plot is fucking absolute dog shit. So the bullets in the cop and surrounding trash area don't need to be recovered. The one in her leg does. Oh, and the surgeons are off for the evening and can't remove the bullet for a day or 2. This is some kindergarten shit.
Don't ruin things with facts, all right? I thought that was a little bit different. Because obviously, right, so the girl in question is like a witness, and she's got, I don't know what the technical jargon is for it, but she's got the phone card, with the data on it for the shooting she witnessed.
Yes.
Which made me laugh, because Bruce Willis is questioning her, and she can't remember anything. But she's got it all on her phone, on her camera
on this
phone.
card.
Yeah. So just take the fucking card. But then, obviously, then there's no movie.
Well, if you remember, that card falls out from the guy who's not involved in the action part of it.
Right.
So Tito Ortiz is stalking her in the kitchen downstairs, and she pulls one of there's a fire over the main range. It's,
right.
Basically a fire extinguisher, shoots down and puts the flames so it doesn't catch the building on fire. So Tito Ortiz takes a face full of that. He takes a lot of facefuls of shit in this movie.
So did we.
Yeah, we too. He get paid for it. We didn't. We signed up for this.
For it instead.
So then out of the blue, she's like sneaking away again because, like I said, this is hide and seek. The movie should have just called hide and seek.
Yeah.
And suddenly she finds this card, and then out of the blue, the guy texts his battle because it's in the script. He's upstairs. He starts patting his pocket. Oh, I lost the card. And it's like, how? You weren't involved in any of the action that just happened. What are you doing? Like, what?
You didn't have it to begin with.
How did this card that's in your apparently upper breast pockets, how did that fall out? Like, and how did it conveniently land by her? So, oh, wait, this must be important. Like, there's so many things just happening. Like, well, so I tell my kids, it's in the script. That's why this happened. It was written there. It's like scene
in this
hospital.
movie. Yeah, there are at least a dozen things that you could say, well, why don't they just do this? But if they did this, there'd be no movie. So, it's sketchy.
There are points in the film when the characters are talking and they're having the interactions, and you almost feel like they even know when they're saying things to each other, like, what are we saying?
Yeah.
And almost something like, kind of like, what? It's like, wait, we're doing this?
Like, hey, that's what it says that's what it says. I've got to say
Page
that.
20 says this. I've got to do this. You've lost this card. How to lose the card. Don't look for your motivations. All right, you're in Puerto Rico. Just do your fucking job. All
That's
right?
how it works. Eh?
You want to work a double? You want to work a double, pal? Let's go.
Read the fucking script.
So we have no idea why Tito Ortiz and Texas Battles characters are killed Bruce's CI. We have no idea then why that leads to them killing or calling in whoever the detectives are running them to kill them. Like, we don't know any of those parameters.
No.
The sister is only in the hospital for 3 days so that at the end of the movie,
Don't
this bitch finally has her inhaler. And they do a little eye contact as if they've practiced this before. It's almost just like, remember the time Mom trained us? Remember when she trained us to do? I give you a look. You know what I'm talking about?
When I look down and to the left, you know what to do.
Yes. So finally, this bitch has the inhaler on. It looks at her and she brings it out. And once again, Theodore Ortiz takes another burst of air to the face, and we save ourselves. I remember thinking, I want this young girl to be killed.
So what you're talking about here is that she sprays her inhaler in a UFC fighter's face.
Yes.
And it temporarily blinds him. It reminded me of the scene in Naked Gun where someone throws a pillowcase at Frank Drebin and
he's caught in it.
and he's caught in it. That's all I could think of when that happened.
My note was, and that's why the sister has asthma.
Yeah, because she's been
the whole
fucking
reason
inhaling.
we needed her.
Yeah, she's been inhaling. Yeah, that. So when she sprays him with it, he's like, like falls to the fucking ground practically. Like he's been hit with like some toxic gas.
Oh my God. I'm thinking our boy, we got another thing named Paul da Silva.
Oh,
he's a part of the Fabrizio clan over here.
Oh,
this guy can't write for shit. Right? Paul da Silva fucking sucked cheeks, man. Fucking awful. One of the worst written scripts. This is clearly in the running for one of our worst for next year. However, that being said, I think Miss Nikki Whalen is a strong candidate already for Best Actress because she really was very good in this. Like, I almost feel bad for her. I almost feel like, what could she do if she was actually in a non-B movie if she wasn't trying to get fucked by the EFO folks there at the Emmett Furla Oasis, if they weren't trying to use her as a sex trafficker. I wonder what maybe she could have done with a possible career, because she's not.
No, well, I need to address something, actually. I need to say goodbye to someone.
Oh.
Lydia Hull.
What do you mean?
One of the producers on this film, Lydia Hull. We're through.
Lydia produced this?
She's one of the producers.
Well, listen, I think she produced it so she could be in the following movie because she was in the second one.
Well, I'm sorry, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, the relationship of Steve Smith and Lydia Hall has come to an abrupt and sad end because, unfortunately, Lydia Hall is suffering from chronic asthma and does not bring her inhaler, and Steve's tired of this shit. So,
yeah,
Lydia,
well, no, Miss Nikki Whelan is my new main squeeze.
your new coos? But I don't think she's going to pop up anymore.
But it is worth pointing out that this is fantastic, right? That Trauma Center had 26 producers.
Of course it did.
And made 93 grand.
And it's another one of those films where the budget's like how much? So I always put down 10 million. If it's we don't talk about it, it's 10 million.
Well, 2 million of that is Bruce's. So I'm going to say yeah. But yeah, Lydia Hull is now.
$1 million of that is for the hookers of Puerto Rico.
Well, this is it. I was going to say Lydia Hull. We know where her money went on bad plastic surgery. I'm afraid. But we'll see that in the next movie. But yeah, Nikki Whelan, she's great. She's carrying the movie. So we're relatively unknown very attractive actress is carrying this movie, which is a warning sign if you needed one anyway.
I'll give the director/editor credit for one thing. Every time she finds herself cornered where they're going to possibly get her, there's always an escape route. And what they do brilliantly with this, so we don't have to pretend that some girl who's been shot in the leg and is bleeding, can barely move, is able to pull off these Herculean things. They show us showing her looking at the possible escape route. Then we cut to the fucking two fuckwads bursting in the door and noticing that she's made it through the escape route. So one of them is she escapes this doctor's changing room. And every door in this hospital is locked. Like literally every door is locked as if they're actually in a prison. So she looks up and she goes, I'm going to do what Bruce Willis did in Die Hard. I'm going to go through the air ducts. But they at least go, let's not show her going through the air ducts. Let's just let the people pretend that she's made it through the air ducts safely.
They'll know at this point.
Yeah.
They'll know.
And the funny thing is she goes through the air ducts on one floor and somehow winds up on another floor. And there is, like the guy said in the review, there is nobody in this fucking hospital except her sister and two doctors at the front and a couple of, every now and again, a security guard will pop up to be killed. That's about it. Who's in the film?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said earlier, she is our John McClane. She is.
Yeah. She's like John McClane meets a bit of a Rambo meets MacGyver. Like she's coming up with like tools and put things together.
Yeah,
like this waitress in San Juan is really, it's like, I almost feel like, you've seen some of these videos where like they'll show some like fat kid doing these unbelievable acrobatic things. And then they cut to the scene from Bourne. He goes, holy shit, that's Jason Bourne. She's basically Jason Bourne. Yeah. We just don't realize that we're sitting with Jason Bourne the entire time.
She's very efficient.
She just can't get the pie order right. Over here. You
That's
bitch.
true, yeah.
I said apple pie.
You fucking who?
Show me your tits and give me a napkin, bitch. Let's go.
Pretty much
what's going on here?
Yeah, so she's pretty efficient and, carries these things off with considerable flair. And that's the film. We're done. Thanks, everybody.
It is like floor by floor, but she does eventually get caught up to and then punched by Tito Ortiz. Once again, he's reliving fantasies. He was like, hey, I'm going to hit this bitch just like I hit my own wife. So Bruce is barely in. He's only there 2 days. And when he gets pulled, he puts her in the hospital, blah, 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 moves up to an infectious disease, whatever. Who cares? Honestly, doesn't matter. He could have put her in the fucking morgue. Actually, wouldn't she have been better off staying in the morgue that one time she hid there?
Well, that's where she had the most luck.
Again, women who either they were trying to sleep with or something, but some young girl is given the scene of opening the morgue door, walking in, thinking she hears a sound, and then going, is anybody here? And then just walking out. It's like, what scene? Great job. You're great. You're the best actress.
All the corpses should have raised their hand. That would have...
Like she walked in with them. They're like, all right, here's your motivation. Take this fucking clipboard, walk in there, think you hear a sound, ask a question, and then bring your cute ass back out here, and we're going into town to drink. That's basically what the guy said to her. And she walks in for no, I don't know if she has a clipboard. They're all dead. Was she going to check? She's like doing roll call?
No, they're still dead.
Yeah. It was like, yep.
Just to call Dr. Gutenberg and say, yeah, no, they're still all dead. No, their condition hasn't changed.
Yeah, all dead. They're like, no surgeons in here, sir. I can't. They're looking for these surgeons to remove a bullet.
But yeah, I will say, like I say, the whole we've got to get this girl and get that bullet out of her leg because that's the thing that's going to identify. So I was like, okay, but then there's too much other shit that doesn't compute with that.
Is the 3 summer movies from Nicolas Cage, aren't they called like the beige Subaru or beige Volvo trilogy? Because like there's a beige Volvo in all of them. If Hard Kill has a person shot in the leg, this is the shot in the leg trilogy. Because in another movie we talk about next month, apparently Escandri's big on people getting shot in the fucking leg.
That's a very valid point, yeah.
And the 2 movies revolve around someone being shot in the leg and getting that bullet out. These 2 movies are the same plot. He's like, wait, what can we do with the shot in the leg plot? He's like, I got an idea.
Maybe they just, that's all the plot. That's all.
That's all the plot requires.
That's all they could come up with. The prop department was very small. Like all they had was one chewed up bullet, and I was like,
what do we got left over from that first movie we did? I got this leg thing with a bullet. You know what? We're gonna start from there. You got me. We're good. Here we go.
Maybe that was it. I mean, maybe that was like a bet. Like, you know what? I bet you we give Bruce Willis $6 million for the next 3 movies, and we've got a chewed up bullet. If someone can make a movie out of these 3 fucking pieces of shit, we're gold.
Bruce is like, if you can do it, you got me for all 3.
Exactly.
All 3.
He's a committed guy, And
in fact, I'll do all 3 in a row. How's that, huh? Boom. There's your gambit. Figure it out. Like, Mr. Willis, we'll see you in Puerto Rico.
Nothing would surprise me at this point.
But Bruce goes off, whatever, to find out, he goes to find out TJO. He goes back to the crime scene, yada, yada, yada. He's being set up by someone else. We're not real sure if they're a part of Tito's gang. We have no idea what's going on with that because, we're not worried about it. But he's on the phone, and these two dirtwads are right behind him. Do we shoot him? No. Let's be polite. So let him finish his phone call, then we'll shoot him. That's the Puerto Rican way, all right? We're not some fucking American scumbags going to shoot you in the back. We're going to pause, let you finish your phone call, and then we're going to announce ourselves, and then we're going to shoot at you. And what do you think happens, folks? Lo and behold, John McClane says bada bing, bada boom, shoots them both dead, and moves along, and it doesn't affect the plot at all. He doesn't think that maybe I should go to the hospital, maybe this girl's in trouble. Nope, he goes back, I think he jerks off, gets a beer. I don't know what he does after that, but it's kind of like...
He does that thing, doesn't he, where he says to the woman, he's like, I've got a security, I've got a cop on the door, you'll be safe here, I'll see you later. He just vanishes. Well, she goes through absolute hell. And we don't know what
Him and Gutenberg are out drinking. Fuck this.
He's looking for anecdotes about the police academy.
Yeah. They're talking about bringing it back. Let's reboot this thing.
Bruce was like, I know a couple of producers. They could work wonders with it.
Hear me out. Mikey from Look Who's Talking. He's grown up. He's grown up, right? He's grown up, but he still can't talk a lot, so I'll speak his inner voice for him. I'm Mikey now. And then, you are not a captain of the police academy, and I want my shot. I want to try to go back through it.
Mahoney gets shot in the leg.
Exactly.
It's a whole thing.
I mean, if he hadn't got the aphasia, we would have got a whole Steve Gutenberg crossover. It would have been a great thing we could have had. I mean,
like Police Academy meets Die Hard.
Meets Look Who's Talking. Meets three guys and a little lady. Here we go. Hold on, Paul. Here we go. It's a 7-picture deal. Is how it's going to work. Scorsese's doing the third one. He's already committed. He's in. Before we forget, I apologize. There is one use of Spanish which feels very racially used. The janitor, out of the blue. I think the janitor is pushing a basket full of drugs or dead bodies because for no reason at all, pushing this cart, he's listening to music, and this pretty attractive blonde woman who's barely in her gown and bleeding shows up, and he reacts to her as if she was going to rape him and then eat him and turn him into a zombie.
Yeah,
he freaks out in a way that is absolutely ridiculous but also funny.
Actually, though, that's not true, because I thought the same thing, but they've put her, she's in the contagious disease unit, isn't she? So but he thinks... But
does he know this?
Well, yeah,
because is he still on the same floor, though? Because at this point, I'll be honest with you, at this point, the floors have changed so much and there's no one around. I'm not sure where we are in the hospital.
So he's horrified because he thinks she's got fucking Ebola or something. So that's why he's horrified. But I did feel exactly the same way as you, but I soon put the pieces together at the magnificent writing, and it all made sense.
Well, my favorite part is, as he's freaking out in Spanish, she runs up to Tito and Texas, freaks out to them in Spanish. They're like, don't worry about it, we got it. Like, they know exactly what he's saying. They don't respond to him in Spanish, nothing. It's like, hey, no. Tito, just relax. We're going to take care of this, all right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming your name's Tito, maybe Cheech, whatever racist name I can come up with for you, because this is a pretty racist spot. Go ahead, you go back to doing what you're doing. So then he goes back to doing what he's doing, then eventually she shows back up again or whatever, take his card or some bullshit. Like, she's literally Rambo. I'm telling you, she's John McClane, she's Rambo, she's fucking MacGyver, she's elusive, she's got a bullet in her leg that's bleeding like a stuck pig, and she's dragging it, but she's able to outrun these two guys at every step and turn. She's fucking Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Jason Bourne had a sex change, and she is now Jamel Bourne. What did they call her? Jeanette Bourne.
A very feminist movie, ultimately.
Yeah, actually, what we're saying is actually we've now come to the conclusion that maybe we didn't give this the right
This is a fucking masterpiece.
This belongs in an Arrow 3-disc set. The Shot Leg series is one of the greatest you'll ever come across.
Yeah, why didn't we should have thought this through.
We may just do a spinoff where all we do is look at these three movies in a row and just analyze them and prove that they are the greatest three. They're the original Amazing Trilogy. Yeah. I have no doubt. We're betting this early on, folks, in June, that by the time we hit August's movie Hard Kill, there will be a leg injury requiring a bullet in it. So I'm feeling confident.
My eye peeled
I'm feeling
that.
very confident now.
You could be onto something.
And he's got 4 movies. It could be 4.
You could be onto something.
It would be great if it is. Oh my God.
It'd be a colossal be a colossal missed opportunity if that doesn't happen. Now.
Absolutely. At this fucking point.
That's going to be such a nail-biting experience, the next movie. That's why it's called Hard Kill. They can't kill the person because they keep fucking hitting him in the leg accidentally.
Now, can we just discuss real quick, though? Think of the leg. She's got a bullet in it. They need to take it out. But as we found out, Puerto Rico has got like 2 doctors, 2 surgeons. The Goot's not one of them, all right? He just delivers news. Don't worry about what the Goot does on his days when he's there. Just you worry about something else, all right? He's undercover, right? So we got to take this bullet out. So we just bandage it up. So it's basically an open wound with a bullet in it. She then sews her leg shut later on to try to stop the bleeding. She does her own John Rambo suturing, but we got to get the bullet out, but you're closing it up. Like, it's just like, kind of like, hey, you know what?
Just a temporary little bit of sewing.
I think it just shows that she is kind of a badass. I mean, she is.
Yeah. Again, it's just another one of the many things they didn't think through. I mean, that's, at this point.
Listen, she's crawling through air ducts. She knows that she can put a fucking defibrillator on a door and send Tito Ortiz into a wall.
That was pretty cool.
It was cool. She's like, wait a minute, is this fucking a womanizer going to come over and try to punch me in the face? How about you suck on this fucking vent hood fire extinguisher? Bada bing, right in his fucking grill. And then last second, she's got a gun on him. She's like, hey, cocksucker, you got asthma? You do now. Oh,
dear
me. We need to dub this movie ourselves.
Yeah, we'll do an audio commentary thing for our Patreon members.
Yeah, please subscribe to that.
Or Patreon member.
We'll have to pay you to do that.
Yeah.
we're paying our own Patreon. Oh, God. I mean, the best way to describe how you know this movie is going to be dog shit, it's right from the start, is when she's the only patient on this floor and they walk up and they kill the guard. He's in front of her room. All they have to do is open the door and shoot her. But they're like, wait a minute, that's too easy. First, let's go disable all the landlines and then turn off all the lights. We both know that's the only way we can do this job right.
They've obviously heard rumors about what a tough cookie she is.
Yes, that's Jason Bourne in there. We don't just go in there willy-nilly shooting.
That's just what she'll be expecting.
Exactly. We're going to disable the phone lines and turn off these lights, all right? It's almost like, whoa. Well, lights are still on. There's hardly anyone in here. Hey, who's paying the power bill here, huh? Let's turn these fucking things. This is Puerto Rico, all right? Let's turn these lights down. I was like, well, I guess Paul Da Silva won't be winning any Oscars for his fucking writing anytime soon. And if it wasn't for Nikki Whelan, you don't make it through the film.
No, you don't.
There's moments I forgot Bruce was in it. There was moments Bruce forgot he was in it. Sorry.
Harsh but fair. I mean,
everyone in this movie forgot they were in it. It's just like, I wish we could get some interviews from these people. I would love to just ask them, like, all right, Mr. Battle, you and Tito at the end of the hall. This Hispanic janitor comes running down to you, yelling and screaming in Spanish, and you two react as if you know every word he says, but you just respond to him in English. How does he know what you're saying? How did you know what he was saying? And how much drugs were you doing in the scene to make it through?
I think the problem with this movie is, ironically, Nikki Whelan is the problem, because if you had this is going to sound all kinds of wrong, but if she would have been a guy, because the action is more about her avoiding and hiding and stuff, so it's not really an action movie. It's like the avoidance of action, because
yes, it's hide and seek.
yeah, like you say. So if that had been a tough, do you know what I mean? If that was a guy who worked at a bar or something, and he was, I don't know, a bit of a tough guy, trapped in a hospital, then you would have probably had some violence, which is kind of movie needed, I think. But I think we've reached a new low, haven't we, really? Which I'm not sure I was quite prepared for that. This was tough, and I feel like we're now going to have to start looking back at what we can now call the golden era of the straight to
Season one. The Bruceys now are literally participation trophies. It's like, hey, you were the one that sucked the least.
When you think of films like The Setup and yeah, but
I long for Ryan Felipe being chased slowly.
That's what I'm
50
saying.
Cent.
I mean, this is news to me as much as it is you.
Yeah.
I start looking back at things like that.
I'm actually longing for Airstrike. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, God. Oh, come on. Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, but as we talked about in that episode, Airstrike, hey, that was just lost in translation. That was just Chinese people making film. They're trying to make their own war epic that was 5 hours long. These people there was no excuse.
Yeah, but just looking back, I mean, Precious Cargo, things like that, now seem, like blockbusters in comparison.
Criterion Collection editions is what
But you know what I mean? There's a real dip.
Yeah, the real dip. I mean, look, we still have a couple of sci-fi ones coming up, so I'm a little hopeful. Maybe those we got Thomas Jane. What we're missing is a Bernhardt. We're missing someone to pop in and make something fun.
A scene stealer is what we need.
Yeah, because Precious Cargo is just a fun B movie. It knows what it is, and it delights in it. It's ridiculous, but
that's what I kind of mean about this one is, respect to Nicky Whelan, but I'm just sort of like, it's lacking obviously a lot of things, but all those films have lacked the certain something that would elevate them. They've all sort of fallen short. But because you've got a woman trapped in a hospital being chased by two big fucking thugs, you're sort of lacking the kind of action you would have got otherwise with a guy. I'm just going to say it, So on one hand, I get it, but it kind of makes the whole thing a bit lackluster, and you kind of, now she's got to hide here. Oh, now she's moved further along and she's got to hide here. And they're just running around getting progressively more frustrated.
And then they're like, I found the perfect hiding spot. Oh, wait, my girl came in to check if we're all dead. I got to leave this hiding spot. So, is anybody here?
But there is when they do get hold of her and they tie her to the, they're going to try and get the bullet out of her. That's when it all kicks off. And you do get a little bit, like you say, with the defibrillator and all that shit. That's, I don't know, gets a little bit more exciting.
There are moments.
Yeah, there are moments, but you just kind of think, man, if you could have done more. And when you've only got two guys, which
hurts the film because you can't kill off, so she can't kill any of them off.
Exactly. Well, I don't really want to go into next month's movie, but I think it suffers in the same way where you've only got two guys, so it's all going to culminate in this. It's all going to happen in the finale. So you haven't got any disposable kind of baddies, have you?
Yeah, you don't have the Die Hard where you can keep working your way up through the 20 guys who come into the building.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would have been, but then again, that would have been far-fetched with our main character in this film. But what usually makes these kinds of films worth sticking around for is people getting their asses handed to them. Yeah, you're just sticking around to see how they're going to take care of this bad guy. Because you're in a hospital, you've got plenty of stuff to work with.
Well, I mean, even after they capture her, they should have just killed her. They don't need to tie her up. You shoot her, you take the bullet out. And then the funny thing about that is, folks, we forgot to tell you, is so apparently on the one kill job, they use their own service weapons. But then when they go to the hospital, they have their own extra weepens with silencers. Feels like those are the weapons we should have used all the time.
Again, it's just like, bringing facts into it.
Danny Scott, how dare you? You know what? You're working a double tonight, you piece of shit. Which is, actually, we are. Isn't that funny?
So the film kind of, by trying to do something a little bit different when it should have just stuck with the brainless shit they've been doing, and it would have been a little bit more palatable.
Without being able to kill more people, we end up getting, it feels like the script goes, all right, now we've got to make her escape to this thing. Like there's a lot of moving around that constantly and after a while you kind of go, okay, at some point, I mean, maybe Texas Battle's like, look, dude, you're the guy who did UFC. You're doing all the stunt stuff. I'm not getting hurt and out. I mean, because Tito Ortiz gets his dick handed to him the entire time. He's always getting beat up in this thing. He's the one who gets electrical shots. He's the one who gets fucking sprayed in the face with everything. Like, Tito Ortiz gets fucked up pretty good in this movie.
Well, I mean, if she'd have had the usual, like, floppy disk or something from back in the day, and they would have been, and you'd have had a sort of main Alan Rickman type.
You know what? That just reminds me. That's why they couldn't shoot her. I forgot. That was the extra thing they wrote in the script, is to have this extra thing. Because once she has that and says she's hidden it, they can't kill her because they need that.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why. I forgot about that. Yeah.
She's hidden that in her sock, hasn't she? Through the whole fucking movie. That's been in her sock.
Listen, do we need to? These guys don't pat no one down. We don't ask questions.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, though. So forget the bullet in the leg thing. They just need the card. Yeah, it's got the data on it. Yeah. So that would then be, you could then just have like a main sort of like moustache twirling guy like Alan Rickman, and he could have had 10 thugs for her to kind of, or her or him to have to deal with, and then it would have just been the same old shit. Yeah. But that same old shit works.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you say, you were just playing hide and seek for an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, the extra thugs were wasted for Bruce Willis to shoot him for really pointless reasons.
Exactly. Then you could have him trying. Yeah, you know.
Yep.
I think we're trying to make a better film. No, that didn't happen.
No,
we didn't get an invite to help out.
No, I don't think anyone got an invite to do this except for Steve Gutenberg, who was already on vacation. Like, Goot, want to be in something? He's like, why not? Why
I got
not?
20 minutes.
Yeah, I got 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to hit on this girl anyways.
Yeah. I'll leave my wife and kids at the pool. I'll come down. Give me a white coat, pair of glasses. I'm a doctor. Quick, give me a clipboard. I'll look even more important.
Exactly.
But anyway.
The hell, you guys are packing up?
Yes, we are. There's no crime scene here, Steve.
No crime scene?
Yep.
I saw the body myself.
Not saying there wasn't a crime, there's just no scene. Look, K9 says there was drugs. There's not even enough trace to tell us what kind. Latents? None. Your victim was about here, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah, I saw him. Right here.
Okay.
Right here!
So luminal showed blood here, trace amounts and decreasing.
Decreasing?
Yep, somebody cleaned up with hydrogen peroxide. It degrades the hemoglobin to the point that luminol can pick it up. And here, we saw this when we were blacklighting the luminol. Bill's marked with UV ink and gentian violet. Nearly $200,000.
182.
Is it yours?
Yeah. Jimmy Gonzo was my snitch. Giving me 7 busts. We hit a wall, deals got canceled. Jimmy said there was a protection racket going around. Did you hear about any of that? So I had some guys plan some traceable cash. Next thing I know, he thinks he's been made.
Sounds like he was right.
Whoever's running the racket killed him. We're talking someone who can take busts. Spot marked money.
You're saying cop did this?
Not cop. Cops. More than one.
All right, well, let's try to figure out if there are any favorites and bests from this movie as we get into our final thoughts.
Favorite scene.
Favorite scene, I kind of mentioned it. My favorite scene was the fib torture scene, where actually, we didn't mention it. I apologize. So Tito Ortiz gets a little bit of revenge later on when they do hook her up. They're gonna torture her to try to find out where the card is stuff. And so we get this fib torture scene. And I said it's not the first or last time that Tito Ortiz has beaten up a woman. So good for Tito Ortiz, getting to show his true colors in the film. It was nice to see us in this film, at least. You know, and this word's coming out of my mouth, they're going to sound weird, but they're abusing her. They're like beating up on her like you would an action star anyway. So she's kind of being thrown into the role of female-esque action star.
There's stakes here. There's
and she's getting the same kind of treatment that if it switched and Bruce Willis is playing the guy, he would have got the same kind of thing.
You're absolutely right.
I appreciated them not pulling the punch. Oh, it's a girl, we can't do this stuff. I mean, they went for it, and that was probably my favorite scene. That and the guy running. Oh, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde está?
Andale. That's my favourite scene, and I was in my head while I was watching it. Right. This is why we podcast, and this is clear. This is clearly why we watch too many movies, right?
We are fucking degenerates.
Because in my head, Comanche was playing from Pulp Fiction, and I just had this wacky idea that they're going to saw her leg off. To that weird kind of that weird sort of crazy surf instrumental from Pulp Fiction. That would have been fucking awesome.
I mean, it's funny we're talking about this, but that would have raised the stakes to force her to give up the card.
Yeah, we're gonna hack your fucking leg off.
Damn it, we could have.
Exactly, we've made a really good.
5 years from now, Trauma Center 2 is going up. We're gonna reboot it.
But yeah, no, that was a good scene because that was pretty intense, and that was quite fun. And she dealt with it, but she dealt with it. I'm hesitant to say a realistic way, but a way that was more easy to swallow. She does her best.
Yeah.
She's resourceful in this moment.
She is.
So yeah, that was my favourite scene too.
Best one-liner.
Now for best one-liner, mine goes to Steve Gutenberg, not because it was a great line. It just made me laugh. I thought, okay, this is the kind of movie I'm in for. And Steve Gutenberg says, as all he can muster up, he's like, our surgeons are out for today. We're trying to fit you in. Probably another day or two. Referring to when they're going to take the bullet out of her leg. Just like the fact that he sat there, read this, and said to himself, you know what? This all makes sense. All of this makes sense. We got no surgeons on call. I mean, God forbid something else happens in the world out here in Puerto Rico. Someone takes a bullet. No, look it. Our surgeons don't work doubles. The only people in Puerto Rico not working double shifts is the medical staff at the San Juan Hospital. So, Mr. Gutenberg, thank you for showing up for 5 seconds doing our John Cusack for this month's episode. Our surgeons are out for today. We're trying to fit you in. Probably another day or two. But enjoy your stay here. Get a Mai Tai.
Well, that just goes to show. I couldn't find one fucking line in this movie. This was the most banal script ever. It's humorless. There's nothing clever being said. There's nothing. Bruce Willis gets nothing.
If you want, you could steal the one the guy took. You can call me Steve.
This had nothing, this movie.
He's like, I want you to call me Steve. There you go. There's Steve. I want you to call me Steve.
So I've got no line. There was only one line and you found it.
I mean, in fairness, I only took it because it was
That's
fucking
all there
ridiculous.
was.
Yeah.
Best performance.
All right, that brings us to our best performance. I think we both are going to say the same exact person, but I'm going with Nikki Whelan as she carries the whole film. She's really good. Like, as much as this movie's dog shit, she is actually really, really good in it. You know? Steve, what do you say?
I couldn't agree more.
And I'm actually looking forward to. She's going to be nominated. She's going to be in the Bruceys at the end of the season.
Definitely.
And she's right now a front runner.
We need
very
to
good.
I think we need to introduce we need the Cusack Award for.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna be. It's gonna be a special award.
Yeah, but no, Nikki Whelan, she is great in this. Yeah, all right. You know, she's hot, but she's good.
She's easy
good.
on the ice, but she actually can act.
Yeah, she can act, and she's relatable, believable, and she doesn't do any stupid shit in it really either.
Favorite character.
Now, favorite character. Again, I'm going to pick Nikki Whelan's Madison Taylor, but I do have a runner-up, which is the hospital janitor, because like us, he wanted the fuck out of there too, all right? So a special nod to the hospital janitor.
He was the most relatable person in the movie.
He was the most relatable person in the movie. We were like, yes, we too want out. But I give it to Madison Taylor, played by Nikki Whelan. She carries the film, as we just said. She was spectacular. You know, I would watch a movie with her in it, you know, more movies with her. I hope she gets other roles. But I think because she's in this dog turd tonic, as you like to call them, I don't think she gets the, she's not going to get the credit she deserves for actually really putting in a good performance, for considering it's a B movie and most people don't even try.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. She's the best character in the movie. I've got nothing more to add, really. You've said it all.
If you want more, watch the film. That brings us to the moment of truth, and I have a pretty good idea how this one's going to pan out.
The moment of truth.
We're going to start with our man, Mr. Willis. Did he drop a Bruce or a Deuce? We didn't spend much time on Mr. Willis because neither did the film. He was there 2 days. He's aggravated. He's got sand in his ass cheeks the entire time. He's just mad to be mad. He doesn't look like he knows what's going on. And I don't mean because of aphasia, maybe because of aphasia. This script is so fucking terrible. It's all over the goddamn place that Bruce is just there. So he gives a deuce. Like, someone wrote in the review, if you were to take Bruce Willis out of this movie, they said you wouldn't even notice he wasn't there. And that's 100% fair. It's 100% fair because none of the things he does has any stakes to them. They're just extra things to get. It's extra stuff so that you can pull us away from being in the hospital the entire time. It's just to break that.
He most definitely dropped a deuce.
I'm going to say Bruce drops a deuce. Honestly, this is the fucking worst Bruce Willis performance yet.
Yes, I might agree with you on this. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones we did. Yeah, his acting is just...
His line readings are terrible as well.
He's
really bad in this. This is definitely, for me, this is the worst Bruce Willis performance yet.
It starts early. His first thing on screen when he comes out and he's just yelling at TJO, and you're kind of... and it felt weird.
And I was... What it got me thinking was, perhaps like the other actor wasn't there. Like, he's not really... He's got nothing to work with, nowhere to bounce off. And then the other actor does their bit at like maybe a week or two later.
Yeah.
And they're acting there's no connection there. That just felt like you're acting in a completely different way to how you should be. But that's making excuses then.
I agree.
I just thought that was a really bad performance, and that was quite shockingly bad compared to you know, jokingly saying the golden era, but this movie really felt like a fucking massive drop in quality, which is a massive criticism, isn't it? You know, so yeah, for me, he dropped a massive deuce. This is the worst Bruce performance yet.
He most definitely dropped a deuce.
I think it's pretty safe to say, for those of you listening, we know where we're going to go with this movie, a Bruce or a deuce. It's clearly a fucking deuce. It's a deuce from the opening credits to the closing credits. It's caused my friend Steve to call this the worst, and I might agree with him, Bruce Willis' performance, and it caused him to break up his relationship with Lydia Hall. So this is traumatic. This was a trauma center.
This is a big one.
This was trauma.
I'm sorry to do this over a podcast, Lydia, but bad taste, I know.
So yeah, for me, this is a fucking steaming deuce. Steaming deuce.
Sweet corn and all. Yeah, not a good movie, man.
I think the corn's gone stale. I don't think there's anything sweet about it. Unless you're talking about maybe the fact that we got to see a pretty attractive Nikki Whelan.
This film most definitely dropped a deuce.
Yeah, no, this is a deuce for me. I think this might be the worst movie apart from Airstrike.
I don't know. It's trying to think. Yeah, it's there. It's in the bottom for sure.
But I think Airstrike is
I don't give Airstrike as much as a big of a hard time because you know what, Bruce Willis is fun.
Yeah, that's an anomaly though because that's like
it's a foreign film that there's a lot of things happen to that film that you could look back and go, look, there's a lot of hands and other things that caused this film to fail. Where this is just straight up, there's no excuse.
Yeah, this is a new low.
This is basically someone wrote a movie to be in Puerto Rico, so they go to Puerto Rico. And they just filmed this quickly.
They were on holiday. We all went on holiday together. Like a team building exercise that they filmed.
And Tito Ortiz got to punch a woman and not get arrested. Hey, everybody.
Everyone's a winner,
piece of shit.
Except the audience.
This film most definitely dropped a deuce.
Well, there you have it. We are 16 down. 24 to fucking go. We're almost at the halfway point. This is the first. So join us again next month because we're going to get to number 2 as we're here in your favorite time of year. It's the summer of Matthew Escandri over here. And that will do it for our 16th episode. Please feel free to reach out to us on the show's socials, which can be found in the show notes, and tell us what you thought about this film, how you feel about Bruce as an actor, or even to let us know what you think about the podcast. We'd also greatly appreciate it if you give the show a like, leave us a review, and follow the show on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, where you can find other amazing podcasts dedicated to such iconic action stars as Stallone, Lundgren, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, and Seagal. The link to the network can also be found in our show notes. So won't you please join us again next month as Steve and I pull our Willis Winnebago over to review Bruce's role in 2020's action thriller, Survive the Night, to see if he dropped a deuce or if he dropped a Bruce. Until then.
Yippee Ki-Yay, motherfucker.
This has been a Man with an Exceptional Beard production.